Okay, see if we're talking Siman Ayin
Hey,
Hey,
hey.
Siman 75, subsection 1, right from the beginning. Shulchan Aruch.
Okay. So Hateveas Chaverei the based in. Um someone a claimant, someone who's claiming a plaintiff who's claiming from his friend and based in Manali biyadcha, you got some of my money. Money.
Mana,
My
you got
money
some
is in your
mana.
hands.
Yeah,
So based in says to him, Baruch Varecha, clarify your words. Basically, why do you think he owes you money?
no,
Mima chayev lach. What makes him obligated to you? Hilvisa Isai, Hilvesa Isai, Hifkada biyadai hizik mamaincha. Basically, we're talking about is this a loan? Was this a deposit? Did he damage your stuff? Like, how does he? In what way does he owe you money?
right. Why? Yeah, why?
Guy owes me $50, but yeah, why? Because it's possible that he believes that this other party owes him money, but in reality, there's no legal grounds. He doesn't actually owe you anything. You owed me money. You didn't let me come on your property and pick your apples. That's not nice. If you have an apple tree, I, as your neighbor, have a
Right.
right to your apples. I'm sorry, Karen, but you don't.
Or even yeah, or even if like he let's say suspects he stole from him.
Right. Like,
But the
did
fact
he
that I
still really?
think you stole from me doesn't make you owe me the $50 that I think you
Exactly.
stole from me. If
Right.
I if
Right.
I come and say he stole from me and I whatever, that's one thing. But just to say you owe me. Fine, let's clarify. What we well,
As we
why?
clarify it, so that way we can whatchamacallit. So v'chein hanisba imeshiv, and so too, if the defendant responds, ein lecha biyadi klum, or ein chayiv lecha klum, so tzarich levar dvarav. You need to clarify why don't you owe him anything? Why are you not obligated? You can't just come in and make claims and go off that. We need to clarify. You need to investigate
Right.
claims. The Shama Tayyib is maybe he made a mistake and he thinks he doesn't owe anything, but really he does. Oh, that's what you're talking about? Yeah, I guess I do owe you that. You're right. I didn't know that. You got to clarify. What are we talking about here? Even if this defendant is a Torah scholar, he knows all the type of halachas things. He's very, very well versed in Choshen Mishpat. I'm like, Ein lecha hefsid shetashav hatanasei, v'soidienu ketzad ein ata chayiv lei. There's a bezdin here. We instruct him that you have to clarify because there's no downside to responding to this claim, and you should clearly explain this rationale for believing that you're not obligated.
Right.
So now the Ramah jumps in. It says, "V'im ein ereitze levar dvarav." Let's say he doesn't want to clarify. If the judge sees, wait, you don't want to clarify because you're trying to pull something here. There's something fraudulent going on.
Right.
So Yafsid, of course, this reluctance will yeah, this isn't going to be good for you. Like,
Right.
we
You're gonna
already
you're about
suspect
to
you,
lose
and
the
and you
case. You're not. You're
you're
right.
pleading the fifth is not making you look better. It's
Right.
making it look worse. The lav, and so and on the opposite side, if the judge doesn't see anything negative, um, Ella Shanidu Ladayin Shani Yachul Levarer, but instead he just the defendant he's not able to. He struggles to express his viewpoint clearly. He's not an articulate person,
Yeah. Or
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 some sort
or
of
or maybe
disability or
or
something.
or or maybe he just doesn't remember.
Yeah, I mean, I think the implication here is that it's just he's not able to say it. But yeah, maybe he just doesn't remember, so he's not. That's why he's not able to say it. Okay, or another innocent reason. Basically, I can't speak more on the subject because yeah, it was a long time ago. I don't remember.
Right.
And I say we don't obligate him just because he's not able to talk. That's not what
Right.
we
Just
mean
because he
when we
can't
say that we have
clarify,
to.
it doesn't. Right. This second doesn't
Right,
mean he's
right,
not only that, especially if you come and say I because I loaned him money, right? And I say I don't know, I don't remember that. You have to really bring some kind of proof that you loaned
right.
me money.
Well, there's the classic story of the Rav, and I forget who it was with, but the whole thing where the guy returned the money, maybe it was one of the Rothschilds or something, but he returned the money when the Rav was in the middle of learning a sugya. And the Rav Pashit put the money in the Gemara and closed the Gemara without even noticing. And he didn't remember that the guy returned the money. And then it was a whole thing. The guy owes me money. And the guy lost everything because everyone assumed that he stole from the Rav. And it wasn't until years later the Rav opened that Gemara again, came across the cash, and went, "Oh my gosh, the guy was right. He was telling the emes the whole time. He returned the money, and I forgot about it because I was so involved in the Taisvis and the Marsha, whatever." And there was a whole thing where the Rav married his daughter to this guy's son, or vice versa, to prove that because otherwise, yeah, you can't take that back. So again, whatever, any sort of circumstance that, yeah. So, but Taka, so the Rama goes on and says, why don't we just jump to say, okay, sorry, Charlie, if you can't defend yourself, then you're guilty. Someone brings a claim to
automatically
you.
guilty because you don't.
Someone brought a claim. There's a chazaka against you. Because legally, you're right, it sucks, but the chazaka against you. You have to prove your innocence. So no, we don't. Just because he can't articulate doesn't mean we're going to mechayiv him. Because the main thing is making him clarify. We don't say that he should clarify his statement because we only do that to ensure that we get an accurate judgment. We give a proper psak din. We give a proper din.
Right.
Mishum dinifishe ramoim. Because there is a lot of fraud out there. So we just want to make sure that we're giving an emes psak. It's not so simple to just say, well, halacha says this. No, we want to make sure that what applies here, what is going on here.
Right.
I think that's where I think
so that's why there's the key. That's why there's the key thing of the dayan. If the dayan senses there's cheating going on here, in other words, what we're trying to figure out is somebody just trying to cheat here because it became normal that people demand money from people without any they're trying to use trickery or the other way around where they deny it. So therefore, by asking them to clarify what's going on. You could sometimes you could clarify if there's cheating, like intentional cheating going on here off the bat.
I want to bring up though, and which is right off the bat when you start this simon, you're like, what are we talking about here? We're talking about just straight up lies. I think there's another element, and I think even a deeper element here at play, because very often what you'll have, and I see this all the time in today's day and age, people will quote a Shulchan Aruch, they'll quote a psak din. And say, no, halacha says this. And it takes someone to go, wait a second, that doesn't apply here. Like, you can't just quote a random psak din whenever you want. It has to apply to the situation at hand. And I think that's what we're saying here with Mechaber and the Ramah starting off with saying, what are we doing here is that you can't just go to the rabbi and say, Rabbi, just tell us what the book says. Which book? Where in the book? Which pasuk? Like, yeah, over here, what the book says is that you're a terrible person. Like, what are we talking about? Context matters. And that's what, to me, this whole bar, the guy has to clarify, and you have to clarify, and he has to clarify, because you can't just say, Rabbi, it's in a jukebox, this ain't an ATM machine. You can't just choose whatever you want. Torah doesn't work that way. There's a specific psak that applies to this situation. So we have to always know, what is this situation? And we should have the mind, because it happens so often, not just stam lies and cheats that people are trying to steal money. I think even more so that people will try to justify halachically and say, I'm a frum yid, and this guy owes me money because the Torah says so. This guy tried to charge me ribbis, but hold on, did you have a heter iska or not? Like, you can't just say, well, the Torah says, and no, halacha matters, context matters. So, and then and you should see, and the Rama says, see, Mashuk Savti Shimon Ayin Beis Sif Yud Zayin. That apparently he said 3 simonim earlier. He got into this that basically a failure to articulate a claim does not necessarily lead to a guilty verdict. So that is the Mechaber Rama. I will tell you, by the way, I have a little bit of a cheat sheet over here. This English Shulchan Aruch from one of the online smicha programs.
Oh, good.
And after the Shulchan Aruch and Rama, I didn't even know that they had this. So they don't have on the side like we have sometimes. They have a whole discussions and explanations.
Yeah.
He has now the sma, like a whole bunch of things, and so he has in English very nicely. So however if you want me to just read it, I can read it. Or if you want to learn,
let's start by going
inside
and what's it called, and then we'll compare notes up to that. Yeah.
If there's ever a doubt or whatever, I can use it as a reference sheet.
Right, and we can actually use that to clarify the notes that I have on them that we were doing by Yacharusa. So
yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so Shach Aleph Hateveya es Chaverei v'chulu also the litain sheker kedei la'avis hadin kedei la'akvei. So it's not allowed to say to make a false claim, right? In order to uh, um, what is it, to like to hold back the psak din, right? Or to influence it or
Just
whatever.
to
But
manipulate the
to
psak,
manipulate
like
it.
the
Af al pishu zakai. Even if really he's correct, right?
I think
But what
that's so perfect
he's
because it's like
preempting, he's like preempting what's
it's
going to
like
happen in the court.
I'm in the right. I'm a good guy. I know I'm in the right. I know this guy's a liar, but
But this
I
guy's
don't have the
lying.
greatest proof. So I'll fudge the evidence
Yeah,
so that a bad guy
exactly.
goes away, goes to jail. Like
Right.
you can't do that. You have to trust the system.
And he gives some examples. For example, if there's a guy who has an obligation to him for 100, and he can't claim 200. Why? Kedei yodah b'moneh, because that way the guy will admit in the 100 that he actually owes him.
Classic Bab Metzia, Schneimer.
And
Right?
then since he and then right and then since he was right, because the fact is, if the guy says it's not true,
Right. If you're saying pay for Bakol, that's different. But if he's made with
right,
Mexas, then he only has to pay
right,
half.
it makes
But then
sense.
I
He
only
can
get
make the
half what I'm
shvuah, then I'm
owed.
take, so I get my whole money back. Why? Because he
Yeah.
knows if he says 100 and the
So
guy's
then I get
making
half.
with 50, he can get away with 50.
Right. So instead of me
Right,
only getting 50, only getting half of what I'm owed,
right,
I'll say he owes me double. They'll only force him to pay half, but that'll actually be what he owes me.
right.
And I'll actually get
And
my
then
$100
yeah,
back.
right. And the bottom line is I didn't cheat because the true. So you're not allowed to do this.
Right.
Um, right, because Manavi Schayv
Right.
Shavua,
Sure.
he'll be, and this is Midiraisa from the Torah. I made the mixas. He admits part of it. The Galgal Olav Mimokim Acher, and then he'll roll onto him the why does he have to be Megalgal on him the Shavua though? Is the question. In other words, once the guy does the Shavua, what's the problem? Why does he have to roll on him something else?
Right. I don't know what this.
Like let's say he has another taina against him. Right, this is in the Mekadis Va'aris down here. It says Kigain Shuas Karkoisha and Yochlash Bi B'lei Gilgul Shavua. This is in Rashi. That in Shavuos, which is the Gemara that deals with oaths. That like for example, let's say besides for this, right, that he owes him. Because listen, what's the problem? The guy's gonna. So why not just make him swear on if the guy admits the 100, he admits the 100. Why do you need him dafka to make a shvua, right? That's what he's doing. It's not even about getting the 100. Because think about it. What he says is, the guy's gonna let's say he's made the bakel on this thing, right? But he wants him to be made the miktas dafka. He wants him specifically that it should be half the amount. Because once there's a thing that once somebody's making an oath, you can do a gilgul shvua. You can roll on. You can once he's making an oath already, you can make him make an oath for something that he otherwise would not be obligated to have an oath in. Mm-hmm. So, for example, with properties, let's say you also have a disagreement with properties with the same guy. So I'm gonna say 200, so that now he in admitting to the 100, he has to make an oath. And what am I going to do now? Now, once he's making an oath, this other matter that I can't grab him to make an oath for, I can now get him to make an oath on this thing that has to do with properties, because since he's already making an oath, and he really owes me this thing from this other deal, but you're not allowed to do that.
It's Galgal Shvua. I don't know if you know this, but would Galgal Shvua work like on behalf of someone else? Like, let's say, I'm here today and I'm bringing him to make a shvua on my behalf, but there's another friend I know that he owes money, but that other friend can't afford to bring it to Bezdin.
We're gonna talk more about, I think, Gilgul Shva later, more in depth. But
fine.
I think it's only person to person.
But just for now, the whole point is to bring it up with regards to like this trickery, this kind of
right now, even though
he
really owes me this and he really owes me that,
and he does.
But I know that I can't force him and base him, so I'm going to use it as like a legal loophole to like, you can't. What do you call it? Why? Because it's an untrue claim. You're not allowed to make an untrue claim in a base din. Sorry.
For all those that try to say the halacha is all about finding loopholes, it's quite the contrary. It's about following the rules and figuring out what are the rules. And here is very clear where it's halacha saying you can't just be looking for loopholes. It's not allowed. You can't be doing that.
Right.
You have to find what are the rules and what rules apply to your situation. That's what it's about.
Now we have another situation. Second way. The Shach brings 4 ways total of this.
Okay. The
second way is the other guy does it. The defendant does it, right? That Haya Naisha Mana Vitanu Masayim. So I owe the guy 100. And now he's doing this and bringing against me 200. Why? Probably he's trying to do the thing in the that we just spoke about, whatever it is. Lo yomer ech berakel bebezdin. So you can't say, you know what? He's trying to do this legal trick on me. I'm going to deny the whole. So why? Because he thinks he's going to get me to be made in part of it. I'm going to deny the whole thing. Lahadam lo yohaya dvarim me'elam. In which case I walk free because there's no proof. Right? This never happened. And then and then privately I'll admit to him outside of Beis Din, I owe you, and here's your 100. Why? Because I don't want to be I don't want he should have to make an oath according to the Torah, which, as we know, is a very heavy thing, to the point where some people would rather pay the money they don't owe than make a shvuah, than make an oath.
And again, it's not that people were afraid to say a false shvuah.
No, just it's such a heavy thing. I don't want to. You know what? Here's your money.
Even about the emes, even about something I know for a fact, 100%, I'm certain of.
Yeah.
But this is no simple thing to make an oath. That's the respect of an oath, and that's why we stopped doing it, because so many people you see today, like it's just they don't.
Okay, now he brings a third thing. Is hayu shleisha neishi imane be'echad. 3. So you have 3 people now, right? 3 plaintiffs. They all they're all owed, right? The kafar behen, and he's denying it. Lo yiyeh echad teveya v'shnayim meidim. U'chshitzim imenu yuchalku. So they can't make a deal. You know what? Listen, we're all going to lose our money here. Our money, right? We're all going to lose our money. He owes all of us, each of us, a money. So you know what? I'm going to claim he owes me 300 money. You guys be witnesses that you know that he owes me the 300, and then he'll have to give the 300 because there's Adim, there's witnesses. So now the court's going to rule by the plaintiff, and then he's going to have to and then we'll split it. But the truth is, he truly owes us all. So you can't do that either. A fourth thing. He brings him a taina, right? That he owes him 1 mana and he has 1 witness that supports it, and the guy denies it. And of course, like we know, you can't take money from 1 witness, right? It has to be with 2 witnesses. Lo yoymar le'echad. So he shouldn't say to a guy, meaning to somebody else, boy ani va'ata, let's come me and you, v'naidanu, and we'll do edus. Listen, I saw it, okay? I saw it, so I know the guy's lying when he's denying it. But I'm only 1 aid. But I'm telling you, I saw it with my own eyes. You can trust that this is fact, and he's trying to get out of it because he knows there's only 1 witness, but he really owes him. So you come and also be a witness. At the end of the day, we're doing a good thing. This guy's stealing money. We're returning their money to its rightful owner. So this is it's Eidah Sheker. It's a false witness. Also prohibited. Not allowed to do it. Kol zem isbar mi'ashas perik shvus ha'edus shvus ha'edus. All this is explained from the Gemara in the parak in the chapter of the oaths of the witnesses, which is Shvuos, page 31, side 1. Vatisefta, the Shvuos parak hey, v'Rambam sefer Toen Venitan, v'Smag, what is it? Tishin Kuf Zayin. And the Shach does not understand why the Mechaber and the Tur do not mention this, being that it's mentioned everywhere else. So the Shach doesn't understand why they did not mention this. And we'll continue either later tonight or in the morning.
Yeah, I should be available again probably after like 7:30 or something.
Okay, I mean I'll be available more like 10:30, but
okay, yeah, I'm not sure I'll be available that late, but whatever, we'll be in touch.
Okay, so either then or in the morning. Okay.
Yechia Melech.
Yeah. That's what's it called? That's a message from our executive producer there. Okay.
A word from our sponsor.
Yeah, word from our sponsor. Yeah.
Now your sponsor is Great Gizmos, Laces and Locks.
That's it. The link in the description.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Take care.